Hi, my name is Tommy Miller. I just graduated from Appalachian State University, and I'm going to talk to you about studying. Studying is probably going to be one of the most important aspects of your college life. As you know, in high school, you probably had a lot of people push you to study. You had a lot of people set aside time for when you're going to study and how you're going to study. But when you enter college, a lot of that's going to be left up to you and your choices. So you're going to have to choose between your social life and your academic life. So make sure that you set aside enough time to study for each course. They say for every hour in your classroom, you should set aside about 3 to 4 hours of studying. When you study the information that you're receiving in your classroom, what's going to help you is repetitiveness. If you repeat it more and more in your mind, and the more you see it in your notes. So if you take your notes and you handwrite them out, or if you make flashcards, things like that, even with study groups, just by hearing the facts and the information that you need, that's going to help you retain your information. And so the earlier you do that, say, for example, when you have your syllabus out and you know when your exam's coming up, if you set aside enough time ahead, say a couple weeks, you'll be able to have more time to repeat that information and retain it for the long run. So the more you study, obviously your grades are going to be better. For example, I had a class and I just goofed off in the classroom and I just did not pay attention. And so in that class, I ended up getting a pretty bad grade and I had to retake the course. You might experience something like that in college, but if you find yourself not studying for that course, it's going to show in your grades. So for a lot of us, we tend to procrastinate a lot. We just like to push things off to the last minute. Say we're hanging out with friends and we just don't want to study for that course or that test that we know is coming up. It's really not that helpful to do it all the night before. Cram sessions, really they're only good for short-term memory, but in the long run, if you spend about those 8 hours that night before, you're going to be exhausted the time that your exam starts, and that may actually make your grades suffer in the long run. So for when you start your courses in college, you're going to realize that some courses are going to be a lot easier than others. And so you're going to have to prioritize which courses are going to need the most attention and most focus on your part. Make sure that you put the time and effort in needed for each course. When it comes to tutoring, a lot of us let our pride get in the way. We become embarrassed or we're afraid to ask for help. But on your campus, you're going to have a tutoring center, so make sure that you reach out to those tutors. It's their job to help you succeed in your classrooms. And an organization like SOWF is willing to pay for those tutors, so there's really no excuse for you not to seek out that help. Make sure you take advantage of those resources that are available to you. So high school, if you got straight A's in high school and it was a walk in the park, college may be a little bit different. It's a bigger pond and things are going to be different. Your classrooms may be huge. Some classrooms may have about 200 people in them, and so your teacher's not going to have time to spend with you privately. And so make sure that you set aside time for yourself to make sure that you succeed. That means setting aside time to study, maybe if you need to go get the tutor that you need, whatever you can do to make sure that you are successful in the long run.